Well, the City Commission had a very busy meeting on Monday, so I'm just going to cover basically what they talked about and approved so that you kind of know what's going on from the City Commission standpoint. Well, the first thing on the agenda was to make some appointments. The City Commission appointed Scott Leeson and Heather Rickenbaugh to serve on the 1 cent sales tax committee. Heather Rickenbaugh will take the place of Bill Rickenbaugh due to some scheduling conflicts, and Scott Leeson will finalize the appointments to the board. So the 1 cent sales tax board is now complete and will begin its work next week as they begin to talk about a 1 cent sales tax ballot question for the November general election. The City Commission also appointed the Housing Steering Committee for the housing assessment that will begin very soon. The City Commission several months ago approved $12,450 from the Economic Development Sales Tax money to fund a housing assessment to be provided or facilitated by Wichita State University. The following people were appointed to serve on the Housing Steering Committee: Dr. Kim Kroll, Kyle Blaisdell, Ryan Lees, Ryan Murray, Kelly Tetrick, Brian Coons, Shannon Beal, Ryan Browning, and John Banks. These individuals will serve as the steering committee for the housing needs assessment and will collect input and information from the community to determine not only our housing needs, but also to develop some strategic plans for our housing situation. So we thank all of those individuals for serving on that important committee. In addition to that, the City Commission approved a waiver and use restriction agreement with Numanna Incorporated. This will release the company from several property restrictions that were placed on the deed when the property was sold to the company in 2010. In essence, the restrictions would give the city a first right of refusal and limits the property owner's ability to sell the property. However, those have been removed due to a request from Numanna in order to help fulfill some of its goals. The City Commission also had some land use decisions before it. The first of these was a rezoning request in the area of Southeast 20th and Southeast Teeter Road. The applicant made a request to rezone their property from agricultural residential to residential suburban. This will, in essence, allow the property owner to develop larger properties for potential residential development. The City Commission also approved the final plat for the Kinder Edition. The final plat is more of an administrative action the City Commission takes when they have plats that come before them. And in essence, what a plat does is records the utility easements and public rights of way that are needed for land as it and when it develops. And the City Commission finally had 2 special use permits. The first of these was at 522 West 5th, and this was with respect to an accessory structure and the size thereof. And the second one was at 2819 West 4th, and this was to approve a pet grooming business, pet grooming businesses as well as hair salon companies in residential neighborhoods require a special use permit. Both special use permits were approved by the City Commission with a 5-0 vote. The City Commission also had 2 franchise agreements before it for consideration. The first of these was from Butler Rural Electric Cooperative, right here locally in Butler County, doing business as Velocity. So they are planning to begin plans to extend a fiber optic network and extend internet services to folks within El Dorado. In order to do this, they have to have a franchise agreement in order to access our public rights of way. And so that was approved. The second franchise agreement was approved with Delta Communications LLC, who will be doing business as Clearwave. They are based out of Emporia, and they too will be implementing a fiber optic network that will provide citizens with more opportunities and options for internet service. Finally, we have a couple of things that are just from an FYI standpoint. We've been talking a lot about the ball field improvement program, and I've got 2 updates for you all. The first of these updates is the city's deadline for the restroom and concession facilities at both East Park and Central Park has passed. We received 1 proposal from Conco Construction out of Wichita, and we'll be reviewing that and negotiating with the company in terms of a final scope and price for that project. We anticipate that the project will begin construction this summer once the baseball and softball seasons are over. so that those facilities can be ready to go for the fall season. And the last update we have on the ball field improvement program is that the bid package for the McDonald Stadium turf replacement has been put out on the street. We've received a lot of interest from turf companies to put in a bid for turf, and so we do anticipate getting quite a bit of proposals for this important asset in our community. Those are due April 12th, and so after that we will review the proposals and make a recommendation to the City Commission with respect to a company to replace the turf at McDonald Stadium. Also coming due very soon is the deadline for the Transportation Master Plan. The city is interested in looking at its existing transportation network as well as potential future expansions to the network to accommodate industrial development. So that deadline is quickly approaching, and once that happens, we will review all of the proposals submitted and make a recommendation on which company will be selected for the contract to prepare a transportation master plan. Wow, there's a lot of things going on in El Dorado. Some of these are pretty significant, others maybe not so much in the grand scale, but are still important in terms of the overall community's progress moving forward. So we'll stop there for this week, and we look forward to continuing next week on Things to Know. Everybody have a safe and great weekend.